Hello from London. You know, I should shut up complaining about the lack of weekly key reversals, because last week, even though it was in many cases a foreshortened week, ended up with so many weekly key reversals that I had to categorize them into 3 emails when I sent out my heads up email on Sunday night. These categories were currencies, financials, and commodities. I'll deal with the currencies first. The most interesting one was the weekly key reversal up in sterling against the US dollar, or cable as it's known, last week. It was a weekly key reversal up, but only just, and it was made in the shadow of the weekly key reversal down 2 weeks ago in euro dollar. That one has been quietly doing nothing since, though here in cable we have seen an interesting move up to challenge the declining short medium moving average, currently at 134.53, which is an ongoing challenge. In the Kiwi dollar against the US dollar, we had an interesting immediate countering weekly key reversal up, offsetting and reversing the weekly key reversal down made 2 weeks ago. We also had weekly key reversals up in Aussie dollar against the US dollar, plus Aussie yen, euro yen, and sterling yen, but interestingly not in US dollar against the Japanese yen. That's something to consider, I think. Additionally, we had weekly key reversals down in US dollar Polish zloty, and of course, unsurprisingly, US dollar against the Turkish lira, though I should point out 2 interesting features here. Firstly, if you get the chance, look at how the rising medium moving average, currently 10.1852, stopped the market's fall stone cold dead on Thursday last week. Secondly, this halt and pullback up since has, for the moment at least, stopped the chance for December here being a monthly key reversal. Finally, we had a weekly key reversal down in the US dollar Chinese yuan 1-year NDF, but not in spot USD CNY, the onshore Chinese yuan, nor in USD CNH, the offshore Chinese yuan. Now, I know that the NDF is a currency derivative, but it seems that perhaps, just perhaps, the tail here is starting to wag the dog, as highs, lows, and closes seem to be starting to head lower. That concludes the currencies. The next category is the financials, and here we have some commonality, but also some significant finessing of what is and is not a weekly key reversal down. We had weekly key reversals down in German Bund futures, Japanese JGB futures, and US T-bond futures, but in this last one, it was not on what I usually use, the continuous charts, but on the March 2022 contract. Meanwhile, on the US T-note futures, we had a weekly key reversal down, but only on the continuous charts. As you can see, there's quite a bit of finessing of meaning here. Meanwhile, on the stock and stock index futures, we had weekly key reversals up in French CAC 40 futures and the UK FTSE futures, plus the Nasdaq Composite Index, though interestingly, the Nasdaq 100 index had to settle for the lesser outside week, as it did not quite manage a weekly key reversal up. Finally, we have the commodities category. This can be split into 2 subsections: energy futures and everything else. We had weekly key reversals up in NYMEX WTI crude oil futures, NYMEX heating oil futures, NYMEX RBOB futures, and also in ICE Brent crude oil futures. As you can see, it's a straight run, if in terms of technical analysis, if not in the meaning of refining technology. The only thing that stopped it being a straight flush of all the energy futures was that ICE gas oil futures didn't make it to being a weekly key reversal, closing on Friday at US dollars 653 even, when they needed a minimum of US dollars 653.25 or 653.25 to be a weekly key reversal up. Thus they ended up still being a lesser outside week. As you can see today, all these markets, including ICE gas oil futures, have moved higher in response to the overwhelming bullish action seen in last week's foreshortened, in some cases, trading week. One final point on energy. Despite the huge, really huge range last week seen in ICE Dutch TTF gas load baseload futures, it only ended up with a lesser outside week. Not, repeat, not a weekly key reversal down. I just wanted to be clear on that one point. Just watch out for the time crossover of the bullish Andrews and Shift pitchforks. That's due tomorrow. Finally, the others. There were weekly key reversals up in Paris milling wheat futures and Chicago live cattle futures. Paris milling wheat has since seen prices pull back within last week's range, though still within a large March to July bullish Andrews pitchfork, and also acting in the shadow of July's monthly key reversal up. Meanwhile, Chicago live cattle, well, had done little other than explore the top side a little this past Monday, though one has to say the closes have been close to Friday's high and close. Next week I will not only deal with this week's, in some cases this week's very short week of possible weekly key reversals, but also look at any monthly key reversals for December, as well as the unique chance to see if there had been any annual key reversals for 2021. That just about covers it. I hope I've at least spoken in part on some of the markets you may be interested in. I'm always happy to share my videos, various charts, and answer any questions with anyone who contacts me. And with that, I'll finish this section from London. I hope you found these comments useful.